Hello guys and welcome back to Celebrity Big Brother, and today we are going to be talking about the nominations. This is the second round of nominations, and guys, it got juicy because not only did the housemates get to nominate, but Sharon got to listen to all of them and make a decision of her own. So without much further ado, let's get straight into the episode, shall we? So guys, before we start, I just want to say thank you guys for the support. You guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We are currently on 687, so we're 13 subscribers away from 700, which is absolutely crazy. You guys can get me there. You guys can do it. Join the ranters, be fantastic, be a part of the crew, and yeah, we'll keep ranting on about reality shows. Keep on ranting. Let's get into the video, shall we? So the episode started off with the housemates deciding on their shopping list. There were a couple of things put on there that I found really funny. 12 pizzas were ordered, which, I mean, to be fair, that's one per person for the whole week. So it kind of makes sense to have 12 pizzas, but also one pizza a week for like per person. That's a bit crazy. That is a little bit wild. There was also talk of getting sweet potatoes, and David was like, ugh, I hate sweet potatoes. I completely agree with David. I don't like sweet potatoes that much. I just don't think they taste very nice. It like I've had them, and most people are like, oh, you clearly haven't had them cooked very well. And I'm like, no, I've had them cooked in all different kinds of restaurants, all different places, all different spices, everything, and just no amount of spice or way you cook it is going to make it taste good, in my opinion. It's just not a potato, it's a sweet potato. They're just incomparable things. People who order sweet potatoes over normal potatoes, criminal, honestly. But we then moved on to Levi talking about his Caribbean roots. I actually found this really interesting. I thought it was actually quite interesting to watch. Then Fern was talking about Mother's Day, because obviously this was filmed on the Sunday, and she said there's something coming today. I can just tell, it's in the air. There's something about to happen, and I'm worried, I'm scared. And then Zizi and her were talking about knickers and how sometimes they go commando, and Fern was like, oh yeah, sometimes I go commando when I'm in my jeans. When I'm in my jeans. I was like, rah, the chafe must be real on that, because that, ow, that hurts. That's tough. That's not fun. Chafing from jeans is not a fun time. And then finally, the last little bit before the nomination started was Coulson talking about his eating disorder. It was actually quite emotional to hear him talk about it. It was not something I was expecting from him, but hearing about his sort of binge eating and then his starving and then like rinse and repeat was actually quite powerful. And I think it's really interesting sometimes to hear men talk about their eating disorders, because it's not something that's often spoke about, or it's not a vocal topic in the community. So I'm glad that he was speaking out about it, and yeah, let's move on to nominations, shall we? So, before we get into nominations, I want to explain Sharon's role in nominations, because it wasn't explained explicitly at the start, but throughout the episode we kind of understood what her role was. She was allowed to watch everybody's nominations, which I thought was a great twist, first of all, because I think it allowed her to gain some clarity on who is liking who is disliking who. And her secondary power was, out of the people nominated, she can choose to save one of them, but she has to replace them with somebody else, which is a big power. And I think it's an interesting one, because she is leaving in tonight's eviction show. She is leaving. She's only been here a week, so that's all she's getting. Do you know what I mean? So it will be interesting to see sort of how this affects the house moving forward. Is it going to change things, or is it actually going to sort of keep things on a sort of, is it going to continue on a similar path, or are things going to start to get a little bit crazy now that the person that everyone respects, Sharon, is now leaving the house? I think it might be the latter. I think Louis is going to hold back a lot less, and I think it's going to be a lot more interesting to watch. But without much further ado, let's start talking about nominations. So, first up was Marisha, and she voted for Lauren and Louis. The reason she voted for Lauren was because of the rule break. She feels like there's a loss of trust there, and she feels like that's not something that she's going to be able to get back while they're in the house. And with Louis, it's the way he speaks about Zizi. It's very derogatory, it's very sort of sneery, it's just not very nice. And I gotta say, I completely agree. I think Louis is actually proving to be a very nasty person in this house, and it's very interesting because you never know who's going to be that kind of person in the house. You never ever know. And am I surprised it's Louis? A little bit, but also now that I'm thinking about it, not really. It kind of fits in with his whole persona of being like a sneery little imp in the nicest way possible, although that isn't really a nicest way possible, do you know what I mean? As for Ekin Su decided to vote for David and Zizi. David because she feels like he is selfish and there are unnecessary comments made, and I just feel like Ekin Su just doesn't really appreciate his input in conversations because he doesn't add much other than just sort of like comments whilst people are talking. As for Zizi, she feels like the personality is guarded there, and also she feels like she's so on edge and ready to fight that she's just done with the bitchiness and the cattiness and she doesn't want to deal with it anymore. And that's how she feels like Zizi is. Zizi's always ready to just pounce whenever she needs to, and she doesn't enjoy that kind of energy in the house, which again is fair. It's a fair comment at the end of the day. It is what it is. Moving on to Lauren. Lauren voted for Zizi and David as well. Zizi because of Orange Gate and the whole sort of like the fact that she puts in zero effort with Lauren. I think it's a little bit of an expected answer from Lauren. Of course she's going to vote Zizi. There's not going to be another vote coming out of her mouth. And then she also voted for David because she thinks that he is an attention seeker and he's just too much inside the house, which I find absolutely hilarious because I was saying this to my mum yesterday because I was watching it with her. I was saying, surely if you were in the house, like I find David quite entertaining, and I think I'd find him quite entertaining in the house. Would you not want to keep around the entertaining people and vote out the boring people? Like, I'm sorry, but Nikita's got to go. He's so boring. Him and Coulson, oh my god, they're so dull. Like, actually, they just add nothing. Although Coulson is sweet and Nikita's also sweet, but like they add nothing to the series in the nicest way possible. Oh god. But Lauren also started to like market and like it was like she was on QVC where she was like, oh, she hasn't asked me about my scented candles, my this, my air freshener. It was like, what's going on here? She's really just sort of like plugging her business, and it's actually low-key very smart, but also crazy. Stop that right now, Lauren. Nikita decided to vote for Lauren and Fern. Lauren because he agrees with Zizi. He hates the word hate, or he dislikes the word hate being used. And he also feels like people are falling out because of her, and she's the sort of catalyst. So getting her out the house would sort of ease some tensions. As for Fern, he voted for Fern because he feels like she isolates herself a lot and she doesn't really join in and be a part of the group. I have heard this. Apparently she goes to bed quite early, so she's not really on the live streams a lot. But I don't know. We don't get to see everything, so clearly there's something that she's doing that's irking some people, but it is what it is. In a surprising twist, Levi voted both Zizi and Lauren, and his reason for Zizi was because she didn't accept the apology, and she should have. And I was like, but you were there, right? The apology was made as a way of like appeasing the house rather than apologizing to Zizi. So like, I don't know, just feels a bit weird, but is what it is, I guess. As for the what's it called? As for the other one, Lauren, just because she broke the rules, it was unfair. A lot of people have criticised Levi being like, well, if you're going to vote Lauren, you should have voted Louis because he also broke the rules and it was also unfair on the house from his perspective. But I guess because of the argument with Lauren and Zizi, that's why his votes were there. As for Louis decided to vote for Zizi and Fern. The reason why he voted for Zizi is because he just feels like he's not compatible with her. There are other people in the house that he'd rather have there. He's pretty nasty with his nominations. There's no love lost here. And his second nomination for Fern was even more shocking. Because he was like, she's like wallpaper. She's just there. Like, she doesn't add anything. She doesn't do anything. I was like, you are talking about a celebrated TV presenter, like probably more celebrated than you, and you have the cheek to go, she's like wallpaper. Well, I'm thinking, who can we do without in this house? You're nasty. That's not very nice. That's horrible. Like, if there was like something that she'd genuinely done, but she's just being herself, and you're going, oh yeah, she's adding nothing, who can we do without? Oh, she's like wallpaper. What? God, I really, as much as I think Lauren will leave on like tonight, I really hope they get rid of Louis, because I actually cannot stand the man. I find him so most of the time, just like so annoying. Up next, we had Bradley. Bradley voted for Louis and Lauren because Louis doesn't help with any of the house chores. I find it so funny that he's able to be like, oh, Fern, she's like wallpaper, what does she do? But he doesn't fucking help around the house. What's his purpose in the house? What, to just sit there and tell stories and then go for a fucking nap whenever he wants? Yeah, leave it out. Leave it out. He also voted for Lauren because he feels like there's no deep conversations there. It's a bit tough. It is uncomfortable at times. And he just feels like the house would be a happier place without her. As for Coulson also voted for Lauren and Louis. Lauren because she still hasn't learned his name, and at this point it is just rude, it is just ignorant, and it was funny the first couple of days. We're now almost a whole week in, and it's just a bit pathetic. Coulson, it's not difficult to say. I know sometimes I say Colston, but that's just because my brain is fucking dumb sometimes. But at least I'm closer than Colchester or Collister. Like, come on. Who's naming their kid Collister? Honestly. And then as for Louis, again, similar to Bradley, he isn't pulling his weight around the house, and it is just starting to get on people's nerves and really, really frustrating them. Up next, we had Fern, and Fern voted for Ekin-Su and Lauren. Ekin-Su because she feels like they're just not on a similar compatible level. They don't really have anything to talk about, and I find this so funny because the very first night they were having deep chats in the bathroom and they seem to be really, really getting along. And then all of a sudden there's this like vendetta they've got against each other, which I really don't understand and I don't get. I really just don't get it. Have we missed something? Have we missed an argument that they've had or something? Lauren, the reason why Fern is voting for Lauren is because Lauren gave all of her laundry to Fern to wash. Which Fern was like, that is a big cheek and a bit of a piss take. But like, I'll do it, but I'm not entirely happy about doing it because, like, come on, don't take the piss. Moving on to David. David decided to vote for Lauren and Levi. Honestly, some people just throw out random votes. Lauren because he feels like she's sneaky and she makes him feel uneasy when it comes to sort of when she's talking behind people's backs, things like that. He always feels like she's got an agenda against him or something like that. And then with Levi so David tried to get to know Levi, but he feels like it's a one-way conversation. Levi isn't really interested in getting to know David, and I think it was he said something on the lines of like, oh, I found out how he grew up in the Caribbean, but he doesn't want to know how I grew up in Bolton. And I was like, well, I don't really care about how you grew up in Bolton, to be fair, because I know what Bolton's like, whereas I don't really know what growing up in the Caribbean's like. So I guess that's a more interesting conversation to have, David. But still, like, yeah, but silly nomination. I don't know why he would vote for Levi over everyone else in the house, especially when you got Louis right there. Like, come on. Anyway. Moving on, Zizi also voted for Lauren and Louis. The reason with Lauren is because of the surface level conversation. She feels like they've got nothing to talk about, nothing in common, and it's just not interesting conversation when they are talking with each other. And then Louis, the reason why she voted for Louis is because he likes to talk about people, and it's just giving mean girl energy. And honestly, I got to agree with Zizi here. My mum is one of those people that isn't the greatest fan of Zizi, just because of sort of the fact that she's always sort of ready for an argument like that. My mum doesn't like people like that, but she sat there and she was like, no, I completely agree with Zizi on these points, because like my mum also now doesn't like Lauren and Louis. So it's very interesting to sort of see how attitudes and opinions can change on people just within a couple of days. Yeah, very interesting indeed. But that is the nominations done. That means that the people facing eviction will be Lauren with 8 votes. 8 votes. That's crazy, because there's only 12 people eligible to vote. Then Louis and Zizi both had 4 votes each. I think David had 2. I think Ekinsu had 1. Levi had 1. I'm trying to think who else had 2. Fern had 2. So, honestly, an interesting results round. Not what I expected, but there is the killer nomination from Sharon that we've still gotta sort of, yeah, tough. Let's talk about that now. So it's time to talk about Sharon's killer nomination. It was tough. It was tough watching it, I gotta say, because she stood up there. The 3 people up for nomination were Zizi, Lauren, Louis. Me and my mum were going, she's surely going to save Louis. Surely she's going to save Louis. There's no way she's not saving Louis. And then I just threw out randomly, I went, what if she saves Zizi? Imagine the carnage that would cause. That would be crazy, because I don't think Louis would be that pissed off or upset at the end of the day, because I don't think he cares that much about the whole situation. And Sharon, he knows that Sharon's done it for a more noble reason than just saving him because they're friends. But I really actually didn't expect her to pick Zizi. I said it as like a sort of imagine if, because like I always love when I watch these TV shows, especially like Big Brother US or Big Brother Canada. I always love thinking, okay, what's the game plan here? Imagine if you put up this person, the carnage it would cause. It's not going to happen because they're going to go the safe route, but like imagine the carnage it would cause. But she did save Zizi, and I thought, you know what? She played a blinder there. She saved Zizi, and she was like, I feel like she basically threw Zizi a lifeline, was like, no, I want to keep you around for a bit longer because I understand you. I know where you're coming from, and I just feel like you need to let go of all of that sort of pressure that you put on yourself to be strong, be this, be that, and just be vulnerable. Peel those layers away. She was like, you remind me of someone I know very dearly. I think she was talking about Kelly, her daughter. I could be wrong. But it was just such a wonderful speech. And then Sharon was told he had to replace the nomination. And I was sat there like, fuck. Because who's she gonna pick? Because she's really like quite close with everybody in the house, kind of. There's not a single person in the house that Sharon Osbourne does not get on with. So I really didn't know which way it was going to go. I thought she might have gone with Nikita. I thought she might have gone with Coulson, potentially. I thought she might have gone with Marisha. I thought she might have gone with literally anybody. But she went with Fern. And I don't know how I feel about that. Because Fern's a lovely person. I will put this out there. I've put all 5 of my votes to save Fern, just because I feel like Fern is going to benefit more from this show than Louis or Lauren will. Yes, they're the drama. Yes, they're entertaining. Yes, but like, I'm happy for one of them to go if it means keeping Fern. Because I just feel like Fern is such a wonderful human being that she does not deserve to make a TV comeback and go out second. I will be fuming with the British public. This will be the biggest miscarry of justice since, I don't know, since the last miscarriage of justice. So, honestly, it was a really, really shocking moment. I was surprised. But Sharon's reason was basically, I think the public are going to save Louis and Fern. So, sorry, Lauren. And Laura was like, it's fine. It is what it is. But I think Sharon did that specifically because I think Sharon is playing it as a game in the sense that I think she's done this strategically to get Lauren out of the house, because 8 people voted for her. Marisha voted for her. Nikita voted for her. Levi, Bradley, Colson, Fern, David, Zizi. That's 8 people that voted for her. So if she puts up 2 people that she knows the British public will like, then she can remove the person from the house that is causing the other housemates trouble. Does that make sense? I think that's her strategy for putting Fern up, because she knows the public won't get rid of Fern. Surely the public won't get rid of Fern. All of the Twitter polls, very even. I think the one I saw last was Fern was on 39%, Lou was on 33%, and Lauren was on 31%. I don't even know if that maths adds up. I don't think it does, but that's not the point. It was just craziness. Like, those numbers were just plucked out of my head. But it is crazy close. Normally it's like 80%, 20%. But this is like really close. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens. But we've got some iconic quotes and moments coming up, so stay tuned. So guys, iconic quotes and moments. Up first, we have Sharon and Bradley singing and dancing together in the kitchen. It was an odd moment. Did not expect it. I think Bradley picked Sharon up and twirled her around, and then they started like boogieing, and then Bradley went, Sharon, and Sharon went, baby doll or baby boy, and I was like, oh my god, did she just forget his name? Did she just forget Bradley's name? Oh, that's so funny if that's what happened. Oh my goodness. Imagine if she had just forgotten his name. How hilarious would that have been? I like bit of an iconic moment, I won't lie. Up next, we have Fern singing in Big Brother the Musical. It was actually an alright number. A lot of people have sort of criticised her for, as soon as she's been put up on the block, suddenly she's being entertaining. And I'm just like, yeah, but I feel like she's got nothing to lose now. If she goes, she wants to make sure that her last few days are like really enjoyable and wants to join in and have some fun with the group. So like, just let her. I don't think she's playing a game. I don't think she's calculated like that. I also don't think that there's any incentive to win Celebrity Big Brother, is there? Because, like, you don't win anything, as far as I'm aware. You don't win any money. If it was the main show and you win, like, 100 grand, then yeah, fair enough. I probably would be like, they're playing a game. But, like, don't be mean to Fern. Come on. But this moment was iconic. I'm looking forward to more numbers from Big Brother the Musical. And then last but not least, we have Louis talking about X Factor, and then Ekin-Su asking Louis, did you ever have someone that was just a really, really bad singer but just had massive confidence? And Louis goes, did you watch the fucking show? Now, I do have the sort of opinion of maybe Ekin-Su didn't grow up over here, or wasn't over in this country during the height of X Factor's fame, so isn't really au fait with X Factor. But come on, really? I think she was expecting. I think there's that cynical look, and there's the other look that, like, maybe she was being like, she was asking that question to make him go, oh yeah, there was this one person, like XYZ, who really thought they were good, like Holly Jervis. Or Rachel. I'm lazy at the moment. That girl. Yeah, I feel like she was trying to get him to, like, name names, because she might be a really big X Factor fan. She just wants to talk about the iconic moments. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about that moment, but it was fucking hysterical is all it is. So guys, that is all we have time for today. Thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. Keep on ranting. Bye now.